1 month. 1 month and the fandom's already lost their mind. So as you may know, there's been something off with many MD YouTubers as of recently, the most notable being a YouTuber who goes by the name of Yagster. In case you don't know who Yagster is, I'll provide a quick summary. Yagster is a mainly murder drones focused YouTuber. He creates meme, music and review style videos mainly focusing on murder drones. Though there's one thing that he's always been known for, and that thing is absolutely despising Murder Drones Episode 5 Home, and a character that is exclusively in that episode alone, named Lord Frumptlebucket. He hated them so much that if someone even dared to say something remotely good about either of them while he was there, he would make a comeback with so much power that even a god wouldn't be able to argue against it. That is, until the 17th of September 2024. Ever since that fateful day, his opinions that he was known so well for seemingly all changed overnight. At first, many people thought that it was just a funny little joke that would only last a day, 2 days at most. But it's been almost a week at the time of writing this, and his opinions still haven't reverted back to normal. He even made a second channel called Lord Yaggerbucket, and it seems he isn't the only one who has recently started praising Episode 5 and Lord Frumptlebucket. Many other MD YouTubers such as Aboda243, Carstoon Review, and potentially unhelpful commentary, as in a recent community post he mentioned that he had the sudden urge to rewatch Episode 5, and in his latest short he also mentioned that Glitch should put Murder Drones on Netflix so that more people get to experience Episode 5. Currently there are two sides, the AFC, aka the Anti-Frumptlebucket Coalition, and the Frumptlebucket Army. Some members of the AFC include Zen, Ranks, Daya, Blooper, Cosmo, and more. As for the Frumptlebucket Army, basically everyone who's a part of that are people who are infected. Currently the AFC are trying to collect as much information about this strange occurrence as possible, and so far, they've been pretty successful with this. Finding out what causes this to happen, as well as even temporarily capturing an individual with the symptoms previously talked about. Now you may be wondering, well, if they found out the case for this, then what is it? And the answer to that is brainworms. Yep, actual brainworms that enter your head, start eating your frontal lobe, reducing your capacity for reasoning, and make you start liking Episode 5 and Lord Frumptlebucket. What happens if you don't get rid of it? You take on the mental and physical traits of Lord Frumptlebucket. It seems Yagster's already up to this stage, as he has started a new channel called Lord Yaggerbucket, and you can see that he now looks and acts like Lord Frumptlebucket. And if an infected individual reaches that stage, the only option is summary execution. There is no cure. Now before you panic, the source for that last part was tampered with by an infected individual after they breached the AFC's containment. So it may not be true, and there's still hope that a cure could exist. Luckily, everyone in that breach made it out safely, but something was wrong with one of them. That person being Sleepy. Zen mentioned in a community post after the breach that apparently, Sleepy is not well. This wasn't explained until recently when there was a livestream held by Zen titled, "We Worked for Yagster. He was a fraud," where the AFC talked about the infection and how to potentially stop it. In that livestream, it was mentioned that Sleepy had been infected. Oh yeah, also the brainworms have been named hats for some reason, so that's some important lore to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is that for some reason infected individuals are starting to use weird languages to hide secret messages. For example, Carstoon Review has started to use numbers and binary code to hide secret messages in their community posts. And Blanter Dang has done the same, but instead of using numbers and binary, he's using the WD Gaster Special Wingdings. To try and fight back against this infection and spread awareness, the AFC have also started to put up missing poster signs of Yagster, like the one on screen. Sadly, I think we all know that won't be enough to stop this infection from spreading. So please, help the AFC in these trying times, and spread the word to as many people as possible. I know making this video and supporting the AFC may make me a target, but if it means I can help even just one person, I think it will be worth it. Moving on, many fans of these creators have started to come up with their own theories on why this is all happening and who might be the one responsible. And so far, everything is pointing towards Blanter Dang being the man behind it all, and I have to agree with this, as I have my own theory, which I think may be the most groundbreaking and possible theory that anyone's come up with yet. So tighten your seatbelts and prepare for the truth to finally come to light. Okay, so as was previously mentioned, we know that Yagster was the first infected, meaning that whoever started this targeted Yagster specifically before anyone else. Why, you may ask? As was previously mentioned, Yagster was probably the biggest Episode 5 and Lord Frumptlebucket hater before this whole thing started, so obviously the person behind this wanted to infect Yagster first because of his hatred for the episode, because obviously we know that whoever's behind this must love Episode 5. But there was one other person who was seemingly infected at the same time Yagster was. That person being Blanterdang. Or should I say, the absolute solver. Or should I say his true identity, W.D. Gaster. Or should I say his true identity, Lord Frumptlebucket. Yes, that's right. Blanterdang is the absolute solver, W.D. Gaster, and Lord Frumptlebucket. My proof for this being that most infected individuals have used numbers and binary code to hide secret messages, and you know what's also related to numbers and code? Robots. And you know what's also related to robots? The absolute solver. Not enough to convince you? The brainworms that Blanterdang released make people like Episode 5 and Lord Frumptlebucket. You know who played a key role and was introduced in Episode 5? Sin, aka the absolute solver. So obviously the absolute solver would want people to like that episode. Still not enough? As we know, V is one of Blanterdang's favourite Murder Drones characters. You wanna know why? Because V is one of the last characters the Absolute Solver would like, seeing as they barely interacted in the show, and when they did, the Absolute Solver said basically nothing nice to her, and only really threatened her. So now that you're fully convinced that Blanterdang is the Absolute Solver, you may be wondering, but how does that mean that he's also W.D. Gaster and Lord Frumptlebucket? Well, my friends, just look at this community post Blanterdang made. Something seem off? Maybe it's because he's using W.D. Gaster's language, aka Wingdings, in his post, proving that he is W.D. Gaster. But how does this all connect to Blanterdang being Lord Frumptlebucket? Well, if you look closely at W.D. Gaster's sprite, you can see that he's mainly two colors, black and white. You know who else is black and white? Lord Frumptlebucket. Still not enough for you? Well, why else would the brainworms be brainwashing people into praising Lord Frumptlebucket? I think I've said enough. So now, ladies and gentlemen, now that we've finally figured out who's behind all this and their true identity, all we can really do is fight. Fight and pray that we're strong enough to defeat this infection, once and for all. But hey, that's just a theory. Again! That's just a theory, and whether I'm right or wrong, all that really matters in the end is that we win. Hey, it seems you've made it to the end of the video, so thanks for watching, and of course this entire video is a joke, nothing about it is really serious. Unless I'm right, because if I'm right then this video was very serious. But yeah, thanks for watching. Also, this is my first video, so please let me know if there's anything you think I did well or bad, or you think I could improve on. Or any constructive criticism or anything like that. Only if you want to, of course. So yeah, thanks for watching and bye bye.